a minute, John?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So what I'm encountering in various conversations is, let's use a real world example of the Yelp request to quote feature and the many types of autoresponders that are out there. What I am often encountering are folks that are saying, well, because a user has accepted Yelp's terms, and I'll just, I shared the sentence that I pulled from their terms and conditions. Yelp, in its terms, says, by accessing or using the service, you consent to receive communications from other users and Yelp through the service or through any other means, such as emails, push notifications, text messages, and phone calls. So I think the devil is in the detail. If a user has accepted that at the back end when they signed up for Yelp, under what you're sharing with me, are we covered? Is that the express written consent?
So that's a great question. So arguably it's express consent. Probably you have a good argument for that, because there's a lot of case law out there that says anytime a consumer gives you their phone number is essentially express consent. But that does not mean it's prior express written consent, right? So what does that mean practically? And let's use the Yelp example. So I filled out a form on Yelp just a minute ago, just so I could go through the process. I click, I need a plumber, I need toilet unclogged or whatever, and it says, put in your email address, and at the bottom of the screen it says, you agree to our terms and our privacy policy. Okay, fine. Accept. Then it asks for your phone number, and then it says message and data rates may apply, or something incredibly similar to that. When you click on that, that is giving express consent to be contacted. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things that come into play there. And part of it is the DNC, like we talked about, right? So in case I called that, now let's say that I called that customer and said, hey, this is John's Plumbing. You want to be John's Plumbing and Electric, and you want to be called about you have a clogged toilet. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. That would allow me to do that manually, even if that number is on the DNC list, because that's an inquiry. Okay.
Do not call list, correct?
The do not call list. Sorry. Yep. The do not call list. If it's because it's a inquiry into my plumbing services, right? Now, is that sufficient for the use of AI voice or another automated technology? I would argue no, it's not, because that's not necessarily an informational call. You're trying to sell your plumbing services to that customer, and you don't have prior express written consent. And the difference there is the prior express written consent is the consumer agreeing to receive a call that is an advertisement or telemarketing services that identifies the seller. We have not identified any seller at that point, right? We've just said, I'm going to call, that someone's going to call you. And when I looked at the list, yes, in fairness, I selected a company at the beginning of the flow, right? I have no idea who it was. It was the first one, right? I would argue that's not express consent for that company to call. Express written consent for that company to call. At best, it's Yelp. Consent for Yelp to call. At best.
Let me